Welcome back to another LBD Library Business Deep Dive. We're always looking for new ways to understand our customers, and today we're going to be talking about something called Technographics.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I have actually. It's really interesting.
So what is it all about?
Well, you know how we always talk about demographics, like age and income and all that? Well, Technographics is saying it's not just about WHO your customer is. It's about how they use technology.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I feel like everybody uses technology differently.
Exactly. And the way people use technology can actually tell you a lot more about them than just their age or their income.
So even if you have two people who are the same age and they make the same amount of money, they could have totally different relationships with technology.
Absolutely. You could have someone who's super comfortable buying everything online, and then someone else who avoids it completely, even if they're both millennials.
Right. I know people who are afraid to even put their credit card information online.
Exactly. And that's where Technographics comes in. It's about understanding those differences and how they impact buying behavior.
So how does this actually help marketers?
Well, think about it this way. If you know how someone feels about technology, you can tailor your marketing messages to them much more effectively.
Are you saying I could actually increase my sales just by understanding my customers' technographic profiles?
Absolutely. There's research that shows that. Just by targeting people based on their technographics, you can boost brand awareness by like 40%.
40%.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's like almost half of your potential customers.
Exactly. And it's not just about awareness either. You can also reduce cart abandonment rates.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. I've definitely been guilty of that myself.
We all have. But in Australia, the cart abandonment rate is something like 81%.
That's insane.
It is. But Technographics can help you address the reasons why people abandon their carts, like maybe they're worried about security or they don't trust the website.
Right. So instead of just trying to make the online experience as smooth as possible, you have to actually think about those underlying anxieties.
Exactly. It's not just about making things frictionless. Sometimes a little bit of friction can actually be a good thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Sometimes we want things to be easy and convenient, but other times we actually enjoy a more tactile experience.
Like what?
Like going into a store and talking to a salesperson. Or maybe even having to wait a little bit for something. It can actually make us appreciate it more.
So you're saying that sometimes adding a little bit of friction can actually make the customer experience more enjoyable.
Exactly. And when customers enjoy the experience, they're more likely to come back.
That makes sense. So how do we actually figure out what our customers' technographic profiles are?
That's a great question. And that's what we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive.
Awesome. I'm already starting to see how powerful this could be.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's a whole new way of looking at marketing.
Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about how to actually measure technographics.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked about what technographics is and why it matters, but how do we actually go about measuring it? It's not like we can just ask people, hey, how tech-savvy are you?
Right. It's definitely more complicated than that. Measuring technographics is really about gathering data on how people use and feel about technology.
So what kind of data are we talking about?
Well, you can start by looking at device ownership, like what kind of devices do they use, how often do they use them, what do they use them for?
Okay, so someone who's always on their smartphone
Mm-hmm.
might have a different technographic profile than someone who mostly uses their laptop.
Exactly. And then you can also look at their online behavior, like what websites do they visit, what kind of content do they consume, do they click on ads?
So you can see if they're more likely to watch videos or read articles.
Right. And you can also look at their comfort level with different online activities, like are they comfortable buying things online or sharing personal information or using digital payment methods.
So someone who's hesitant to buy things online might fall into a different technographic segment than someone who's a total online shopping addict.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have social media. How active are they on different platforms? What kind of content do they share? Who do they follow?
That can tell you a lot about their interests and their online personality.
Absolutely. And then you can also look at their overall attitudes towards technology. Do they see it as a tool to simplify their lives or a source of entertainment? Or maybe even a threat to their privacy?
So it's a mix of quantitative data, like what devices they use, and qualitative data, like how they feel about technology.
Exactly.
And once you have all this data, you can start to group your customers into different technographic segments.
Right. It's kind of like creating customer personas, but instead of focusing on demographics, you're focusing on their relationship with technology.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all comes together, but can you give me some examples of how brands are actually using this?
Sure. Let's say you're a fashion retailer. And you identify a segment of customers who are early adopters of technology. They're active on social media, and they're comfortable buying things through their smartphones.
So they're like the trendsetters.
Exactly. For this segment, you might want to focus on creating really visual content, running interactive social media campaigns, and offering exclusive deals through your mobile app.
You could even use augmented reality to let them try on clothes virtually.
That's a great idea. Now, let's say you also identify another segment who are less comfortable with technology. They prefer shopping in store, and they're more wary of online security.
So maybe they're older customers.
Uh-huh.
Or people who had bad experiences online.
Right. For this segment, you might want to focus on creating a seamless omni-channel experience so they can browse online but buy in store. And you might also want to offer more personalized customer service over the phone or through email.
You could even host in-store events.
To build relationships with these customers and make them feel more comfortable with your brand.
So the key is to really tailor your marketing efforts to the specific technographic profile of each segment.
Exactly. That's how you get the best results.
This is all really interesting, but it also makes you think about the ethical implications of collecting all this data about people.
Yeah, that's an important point. As marketers, we have a responsibility to be transparent with our customers about what data we're collecting and how we're using it.
We need to make sure we're using it responsibly.
Absolutely. It's about building trust and respecting people's privacy.
So before we move on to the next part, where we'll talk about how to actually put all this into practice, do you have any questions so far?
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We know what Technographics is. We know why it's important. And we even talked about how to measure it. But now let's talk about the real nitty-gritty. How can we actually use this stuff to make our marketing better?
Right. That's the whole point. It's all about putting these insights into action.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
where do we even start? Well, the first step is always understanding your target audience.
Yeah, but we hear that all the time in marketing.
Mhm.
Target audience, target audience, target audience. But sometimes it feels like we're just talking about these abstract groups of people,
Yeah.
not real human beings.
I know what you mean. So let's get specific. Let's say you're selling handmade jewelry online. Who's your ideal customer?
Okay, so my ideal customer, let's say it's women between 25 and 45 who are really into sustainable fashion, and they appreciate unique artisan-made pieces.
Okay, great. So now let's think about their technographic profile. How comfortable are they with online shopping? Do they use social media to discover new brands? What devices do they typically use?
I'd imagine they're pretty active on Instagram and Pinterest. That's where people go to find inspiration for jewelry and fashion.
Right. That's a good assumption. But you can actually use data to confirm that. Look at your website analytics. See which platforms are driving the most traffic and what devices people are using to make purchases.
Okay, so if I see that most of my customers are coming from Instagram, then I should probably focus my efforts there.
Exactly. Create really eye-catching content for Instagram.
Maybe try some targeted ads.
Yeah, and you could also partner with influencers who have a similar audience.
And if I see a lot of people buying on their phones, then I need to make sure my website is mobile friendly.
Absolutely. The checkout process should be super smooth and easy. You don't want people to get frustrated and abandon their carts.
This is making me realize that Technographics isn't just about online marketing, it's about the entire customer journey.
That's a really good point. Technology is a part of almost every interaction we have with brands these days.
So we need to be thinking about the whole experience.
Exactly. Not just how to get people to click on a button.
I'm feeling really inspired. But I also have to admit, it's a little overwhelming.
Okay.
Where do I even start with all this?
Don't try to do everything at once. Just pick one or two areas to focus on.
Okay, so start small.
Exactly. Maybe focus on making your website mobile friendly
Yeah.
or experiment with a new social media platform.
You just keep learning as I go.
Right. It's a process of continuous improvement. You're always gathering data, analyzing the results, and adapting your approach.
So it's not just about finding the right answer and then sticking with it forever.
Exactly. Technology is always changing. And so are our customers.
You know, we've talked a lot about data and analytics today, but I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, we're dealing with real people.
Absolutely. We can't forget about the human element.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, but we need to make sure we're still creating genuine connections.
Technographics can help us understand our customers better, but it's up to us to use that knowledge to create a more human experience.
Well said. So I think that's a great place to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us for another LBD Library Business Deep Dive.
My pleasure.
And if you want to learn more about Technographics and how you can use it to improve your marketing, Be sure to visit lbdlibrary.com. We have tons of resources there, including interviews, articles, and reviews, all about digital marketing.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time.